Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Low Rollers Live. As always, I'm your host, Danny Allinson, and I will be playing the role of Bryn Wanders. With me here today is... Somebody go. John, go.
Jonathan Edwards playing Narroth.
Danny.
Well, as he said, Danny, currently playing Phillip, but my main character is Astor.
Seitz.
Hello, I'm Robert Seitz, and I play Zarrius, servant of Obad-hai.
And our illustrious dungeon master. Chris, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yo, I'm Chris. I play everyone but Danny's character.
Last week on our show, we were kidnapped by a man named Davik, who is in charge of the Thieves Guild of the city that we are in. He asked us to help him stage a coup. However, we refused and thus got into a fight with him and his werebeasts, I guess you would call them. After that, we decided to take his unconscious body back to the king in hopes that we would find favor with the king by capturing the man that had attempted to stage a coup against him. Chris, why don't you take it away?
Perfect. So, if I remember correctly, we are ending right as you guys, Lilith has left, and you guys are planning to head back into town, but I don't know if we actually have seen you guys step foot outside yet. So, why don't you guys tell me a little bit about what your immediate plan is? You have 5 bodies and a Davik on your hands. They're all still breathing, but they're all restrained at the moment. So if you guys are planning to leave, tell me what you do with those bodies, if anything.
So, guys, are we going to try and take these men back with us? There's kind of too many for us to all take, and I don't have the strength of many people.
Well, that depends on what you guys want to do.
Well, we need to take Davik at least.
Yes.
Yeah. It seems to me that we should probably take one of his men as an example to the king of what they can do, but more than one seems to be unnecessary.
That's a very good point. That might be something to swing in our favor. I'm not going to be able to carry him, though. Is anyone else able to carry one of the men besides Phillip, who's currently carrying Davik? Is that correct?
No, I'm going to have to carry Vet, but I might be able to carry someone else on my other shoulder.
Yeah, Davik is not very physically huge.
Imposing.
That too.
Yeah, well, in that case, I can take both.
Narroth will bend down and take evil henchman number 4, put it over his shoulder like a sack of potatoes.
Okay, Tiger Gorilla.
Tiger pissed me off. I'll do Tiger.
Okay. And now what?
Do you guys want to start heading back now, like we discussed previously?
Well, before we go, do we want to leave the rest of these men restrained, or just get a move on?
We should restrain them. The king will have some of his guards come pick them up more than likely. We don't want to have to collect these men again.
That's a very good point. Yeah. Let's keep them restrained and let's go. Get out of here as soon as possible. Sound okay?
Certainly.
Okay, let's try and get out of here as quickly as possible. And I proceed to walk out the door.
Okay, where'd you go?
I want to head back towards the city where we came from. You said we were able to see it off in the distance, I believe.
Yeah, it's about a mile off.
I start heading back towards the city.
At this point, Narroth is going to kind of make his way up to Zarrius. Now, I'm not sure how things are done around here, but moving two people, especially one as high profile as Davik, might be done in a more stealthful manner in order to arouse public suspicion, or in order to avoid arousing public suspicion.
So, what are you suggesting?
Not going to the middle of town. If we can, perhaps we should arrange for these people to be placed on the outskirts of town and have the king come to the evidence rather than bringing the evidence to the king.
You think he would leave the castle for Davik?
Either that or we get a guard escort in order to bring the bodies to him. I'm not sure if I will... I'm not sure if it will be well received if we come in there bringing some unconscious people.
Good point.
Keep in mind it's also raining.
Somewhere dry.
Okay. So, where are you suggesting on the outskirts of town? Are we talking like a shack that we can rent, possibly, or?
Well, the majority of this land seems to be farmland. One thing that most farmlands have in common is that there's a lot of open space without too many people in order to patrol that land. Perhaps we can find some abandoned structure somewhere in order to give us shelter.
Okay. So let's head a little bit of ways towards town, and then see if we can spot anything that might look as like a shelter of some sort.
Perfect. In the meantime, I suggest we avoid the main roads and tread upon open country instead.
Sounds good. I will take the low road, per se.
I think you always take the low road.
Ha ha ha.
At least we all take the low rolls.
Okay, Chris. So, how fast are we able to move?
I mean, so you can get, if you're looking right on the outskirts of town.
We're talking like if we're a mile out, let's go to like the half-mile point outside of town.
Take 20 minutes, considering that Phillip is dragging
2 people. Yeah. Fair enough.
So, I mean, you're taking a slow pace, quote unquote. I don't think I would allow Phillip or Narroth really to go any faster than that.
Right, of course, yeah.
So 20 minutes to get half a mile. 20 or another 20 minutes to get to town, if that's your choice.
Okay. Well, I'd like to, once we get to that, and once we have those 20 minutes pass, I'd like to see if I can spot anything that could be some abandoned structure of some sort.
There's not much as far as abandoned structures. Most of the farmland in the area appears to be rather occupied. What you could do is you can try to break into like a barn or a stables or something like that and potentially house up there for the evening.
All right, does Narroth see what I'm seeing?
Everyone sees what you're saying.
Do I see more since I have my glasses on?
Yeah, I mean, from where you are, you won't get any further. If you do continue east, you could potentially hit a tree line that Bryn sees, but you have no idea how thick it is or anything like that.
Is that closer to the town?
It's pretty far.
Is it closer to the town than we currently are?
No.
Oh, okay.
You're thinking like 7, 8, 9, 10 miles. Yeah, but
Okay.
I mean, it's a possibility if you want to walk all night.
I don't think we want to do that.
I don't want you to do that.
Do you think that we might be able to knock on a door and potentially, because I don't want to just break into some person's barn or something like that, or some sort of shed. I want to ask politely to use their facilities.
Probably shouldn't show them any bodies, though.
Well, right. I will show it. I'll probably have you near me because tieflings are liked a little bit better in this part of the
I've got a plan.
continent.
She'll
What?
like grab his hand and start running towards one of those farmhouses.
All right, you run into a farmhouse, or into what appears to be maybe a 4-room cabin of some sort. It's fairly large. The lights are on. You can see smoke coming out of the chimney, as well as some sort of food item. If you look off to the side of this area, you also see a stables, and there appears to be a vineyard as well as some cattle.
She'll knock upon the door.
And someone comes to it. After a couple minutes, you hear a young girl come in and goes, "Ma, someone's at the door." And then you hear some scrambling, and a younger tiefling, maybe in her mid-20s of some sort, comes and opens the door and first looks at Bryn, then sort of looks down at Zarrius. And the little girl goes, "Ma, they have a kid too. Can I play with him? Can I play with him?" And you hear, "Go eat your dinner," and the little girl scurries off.
Hi, miss.
Falcon. Hi.
It's kind of raining out here, and my little brother and I don't really have a place to stay for the night. We were wondering if maybe we could lodge up in your barn?
Oh, are you okay? The city is not too far. You can just head there and get a proper bed.
Well, we don't have much in terms of money.
Are you using your trait?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sure. If we can get you some housing, why don't you come in? You can get a bowl of stew and set up nice and easy.
Oh,
We
no.
should have a couple spare blankets too.
It's okay. We don't want to be a bother. We just want some shelter for the night.
Oh, it's no bother. We always make extra. And my husband doesn't need this much food.
She giggles a little bit. Okay.
Yeah, and you guys...
Come, Zarrius. My brother.
Okay.
Alright, so you guys can go and you can have a meal with a husband, a wife, and a daughter, and a pet dog. And
Is it a cute dog?
It's like mud. It's a pretty cute dog.
All right.
It's like mutton stew, and you get some slightly hard bread. But you know, it's filling. What is Narroth, Phillip, and the corpses doing?
They're not corpses yet.
That's the name of my new band. Narroth, Phillip, and the Corpses.
At this point, Narroth is and Phillip are going to be taking the unconscious folk over in the direction of the barn in order to be prepared for our go-ahead signal. If we don't get a go-ahead signal, we're going to try to find an opening of some sort in which we can get into the barn, hopefully without breaking anything down, to get some shelter from the rain.
Okay, well, about a half hour is going to pass. Are you going to try that within a half-hour time frame?
Probably.
All right. So, for you, since you are part of a thieves guild, you can easily pick a lock or something if you wanted to.
Sounds good.
So you see like a regular old lock on there. You pull out a like thieves' tools, quickly go in there, and then you hide inside. Meanwhile, Bryn and Zarrius are going to be finishing up their meal, and the husband kind of goes, "All right, what do you need? 2 blankets? Will that work? We don't have much in terms of pillows, but I guess you can use the hay if you want to."
2 blankets would be more than enough.
All right, let me walk you out into the barn.
Okay. Bryn will, as they're walking over, Bryn's going to be as loud as possible. So what exactly do you grow around here?
We mostly grow grapes around here. When we sell them so someone else can make wine, they get the more profitable market, even though we do all the hard work.
That's always the way it seems to go, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. I guess I'll take stealth checks from Narroth and Phillip.
We're probably just going to be hiding behind some hay, stuff like that.
Sure.
I am not doing that. It's Phillip who's rolling.
Jesus. So as he takes out his key and he unlocks the lock. I'm assuming Narroth would have relocked it after he went in or something like that.
Oh, yes.
Unlocks it, and he sort of goes in, and you see him light a lantern of some sort that's hanging right outside the door. He goes in, you hear clank, clank, clank. He goes, "Who goes there?" And you see him reach for like a pocket knife of some sort.
Oh, sorry. I accidentally kicked the can right here.
Oh, this is not the South. It's the Dark Age. It wouldn't be a can.
It's a bucket.
All right,
Zarrius kicks the bucket.
Not again.
I couldn't see where I was going.
We're tieflings. We can see in the dark.
Come now, Zarrius. I'll pick him up and piggyback him. Don't be...
Give me a persuasion check. Or deception check.
Me?
Zarrius.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on 1 second. Didn't have my character sheet up. My bad.
And Chris was trying to convince me that this is a dark-toned podcast.
We'll talk about that after you see what I have planned for this session.
Holy jeez.
He points his dagger towards Bryn and Zarrius. What are you up to?
Just trying to find a place to sleep.
What are you really up to? Who are you guys? I know you're not from around here. Your skin is red.
We are just simple travelers coming from outside the city.
Fleeing the terribleness of the wounded king.
I have no idea who that is.
He's terrorizing our home continent of Excelsior.
I don't know what that is. Who else is here? Is there more of you? What was the clanking I heard earlier?
No, it's just us two here.
What is Narroth and Phillip doing?
Narroth is trying to stay as still and silent as possible while motioning for Phillip to shut up.
Well, Phillip complies and is also trying to be as silent as possible.
Hi. So Yvette snores.
Oh.
So just do this real quick. All right. Something's not right here. You know, we were trying to pass off your weird weaponry and that odd staff you have, but you're not telling me something.
I'm sorry, sir. We know as much as you.
Maybe it's better you don't stay here the night.
Is it not safe or something?
I have a hunch it won't be.
All right. At this point, Narroth is going to, as quietly as he can, cast an alter self on him to look like one of these blue tieflings. Change his appearance as height in order to look more like the locals.
Cool.
He's going to make an alteration so that he looks rather poor and dirty. And then he's going to walk out and say, I'm sorry, sir. That was me.
Are you coming from the barn, I'm guessing?
Yeah, I'm coming from behind a bale of hay.
Bryn will draw her gun, but not cock it or anything.
Whoa, what's going on here?
Narroth is going to raise his hands in a sheepish manner. It was raining. I got cold. I just wanted a place to sleep.
You know, there are plenty of places inside the city for people to go to if they need shelter. You don't have to break into my barn. How did you get in anyway?
The lock was open. I just wanted a place to get out of the cold. It was raining.
That's not true. I unlocked the door.
Narroth is going to basically look up at him, giving the most Bryn-like look possible, and say, "Please don't tell my parents."
I'm gonna take a performance check.
How about deception?
This would be a performance check, I think.
Oh, it's double digits.
Okay. Yes. But if you had parents, you can just go home to your parents. Why are you actually here?
Sir, you don't know my parents.
Sure, tell me about your parents as you pack up your bags and leave.
Narroth is going to walk out of the barn and basically go right up to the door and then turn around, giving a hopeful look. Well, my parents, they kicked me out because I was always trying to go places I shouldn't.
And there are places for you to stay if you need a place to stay. My barn, unwelcoming, is not one of those places.
Narroth gives a nod and sadly, is the door open?
I mean, yeah.
A nod and sadly walks out. I'm sorry, mister.
Why don't you two escort him into town? He begins to lock the door.
Oh. Okay. She'll hand him back his blankets then. Thanks for the dinner, at least.
You know, I would appreciate honesty instead of whatever you guys are trying to pull. He indicates to all three of you.
Narroth is going to hang his head and walk out slowly.
He doesn't seem to care and walks back to his house.
So we're alone at the moment?
Yep.
So what's your name? We'll get you a place to find. but we got to get something out of this barn first.
Narroth is going to look up, still in the guise of the young tiefling, and say, "No, they're safe in there. The old man doesn't figure anything else is going on there. It's a secure place to stash the two."
4.
Yeah, 4. 4. Narroth is going to walk out, as confidently as he would in his dragon form.
There's something weird about this one, Zarrius.
Yeah, it's like I've seen him before or something.
Come on, Bryn. Come on, Zarrius. We need to at least get into town so we can get to the king.
Okay. Are you a friend of, someone we know? She'll go catch up to him.
Is it so hard to recognize me?
I've never seen you before. Mr.
I don't know if this is possible as part of the spell, but just for the point of roleplay, Narroth is going to alter his voice to be as low as his original voice and say, "Narroth, we need to go."
Oh. Yeah, I knew that. I was just playing with you.
Narroth is going to readjust the voice back up. "Sure, Bryn. Sure."
Are we leaving Phillip in there?
Yes.
Quick cut to Phillip, still with hand on Yvette's mouth.
Probably not.
It's safe and it's dry. It'll do for now, even if the farmer is an unwitting accomplice.
So, what are we going to do?
Well, there's no reason now not to go straight to the king. I mean, if we need to wait until morning, I'm sure Phillip can have a handle on the situation. But in the meantime, we need to get this dealt with as quickly as we can.
So, on our way to the king?
On our way to the king.
Let's go. And we can move a little faster now, right?
Oh yeah, sure.
Since we're freed from prisoners and we're probably feeling better at this point.
We got full bellies.
God, well, 2 of you do.
That's true.
Yes.
I have a full belly.
As do I.
Works.
Let's go.
Okay. Let's do Phillip's evening first. So about an hour goes by, and it'll probably be around the time you guys choose to sleep for the night. You know, it's like 10 or 11 or something like that. And you hear noises coming out from the house, heading towards the barn. I need you to make another stealth check. And you sort of shift your weight a little bit, and that heavy armor hits something against the wall, and you hear the clink over there, and you hear the guy scrambling to open up. Who goes there?
Okay, so this is what Phillip's gonna do then. I'm going to assume, because it is a barn, that there may be some little critters that roam around the place. So what I want to do is use animal friendship to be able to kind of convince a cat to make it seem like it was the one making all the noise.
Okay, I'm going to make the point that it had a clear sound of metal, so keep that in mind.
I mean, metal on metal or just metal fell?
I mean, there was the sound of metal, and this barn doesn't have many things that are made of metal.
Well, have the cat walk out with a bucket in its mouth.
Cat can't carry a bucket in his mouth. It's not going to be big enough.
The cat or the bucket?
The cat won't have enough, like... The bucket would hit the... It wouldn't be possible.
Okay, is there a window in the barn?
Sure.
Okay, so what Phillip's gonna do is... What would be a good thing to throw out? Let's say that there's a decent-sized rock inside of the barn. He's going to grab one of the rocks that's nearby to him. He's going to use the cantrip light on it, and he's going to chuck it as far as he can down the distance to make it seem like someone left with a light source from the barn. And then if he hears people running towards the light, he's going to turn it off to make it seem like they're gone.
He starts running back to the house. You can actually see him make that sprint. He runs in, seems to say a quick something, and then you see him running towards the town.
Okay, Phillip's going to wake up Yvette.
What? It's nap time. It's late.
At this point, Phillip is whispering, but I'm just going to speak in a normal voice for the sake of understanding. Yvette, right now we're in a situation where, well, we're not supposed to be here. What I would like you to...
Then why are we here?
Well, we were supposed to spend the night here out of the rain and recover for the next day, but what we're going to have to do is get out of this barn. I will take these two, and Phillip indicates towards Davik and henchman number whichever. I will take those two, and we will leave here and find a different place to spend the night.
But why are we here if we weren't welcome?
Well, Bryn and Zarrius attempted to try to secure us a place to spend the night, but it didn't quite go as they planned.
So we broke in?
Technically, Narroth broke in, but wasn't quite that great of an idea, to be honest, but let's try and get out as soon as we can without destroying anything if possible.
You hear her groan and follows you out. Where do you go?
So, remind me what the layout of this place is. Do we have like trees and such, or
It's
things like
mostly open plains that are occupied by farms of some sort, generally of olive trees or vineyards.
Okay, so it's fairly wide open.
Fairly, yeah.
Let's see.
You want to think about it while I go back to the rest of the party?
If you don't mind.
Sure. Cut to everyone else. Where are you going?
We're still at night, right?
That's correct.
Okay. So I assume we made it into town and are now trying to find the castle or palace or whatever.
Yep. You can easily see a keep if you're heading for a keep.
I say we head there.
Let's go.
Does Narroth still look like a,
Yes.
okay.
Well, that depends. How long have we been walking?
20, or not even that, like 15 minutes?
Okay, then yes.
Okay.
Right. So you wander to the keep.
Hey, I'm good at that. Yeah. What do we see? Like, obviously we probably can't get in through the front door, but what do we see close to the front door?
I mean, the place is occupied by a wall, and you can't really see past the wall except to see some of the towers of the keep there. And in front of on the wall, you'll see 2 guards sort of overlooking, but no one on the floor. What would you like to do?
How are we going to handle this? Bryn,
Hmm?
how are we going to handle this? What are we going to say? Davik's been hurt?
Sure, if you want to.
Well, does that sound like a good idea?
I don't know.
I think that we should tell the truth. We have Davik. He was planning the coup on the king, and he has some experiments that the king should probably know about.
Yeah, but is that emergency worthy? AKA, is it
It is at
cause?
least worth for the city guard to go ahead and take Davik and his men and throw them into prison cells while we wait.
True.
I say we go with Narroth's plan.
Okay.
But what proof do we have that this actually occurred?
That's what I want to know.
Does anybody have any chunks out of them?
We could use my tail as a bargaining thing. Recent
chunks. Bites. Scratches.
I start to take my shirt off. I take it that I've had since I was wounded quite a bit last combat. I take it I probably have some scratch marks and bites, whatnot, out of my skin.
Sure.
Or at least clothing.
Or clothing, yeah, that's probably true as well. Do you think that's going to be bargain enough?
No idea.
Well,
Mr. Guard.
Oi, who goes there?
You guys take it away.
Narroth, go.
Really? Okay.
Just say that you've brought us in to show proof of what happened. You look like them. They'd probably trust you more.
This
Hi.
is an interesting plan.
Hi. These guys wanted directions to the palace. This. And he kind of points up sheepishly. I think they said they've been attacked?
Oi, take it with the constable. This is the keep.
Where do we find this constable?
Have you not been in town?
It regards the king.
I doubt that. You can make an appointment.
I think he wants to know about a possible coup.
What, Davik again? Planning another coup?
Bryn just looks at Zarrius and Narroth and like, what?
Another?
Oh, there's a coup like every other day. Have you not been here before?
No.
Do we look like we're from around here?
I can barely see you. It's nighttime.
Can you come down so we can stop shouting?
No.
Can you give us directions to the constable, please?
Well, hey, find another guard to take you to the constable. This is my post. I can't leave it.
There's 2 of them there.
Statement stands. This is my post. I can't leave it.
I'm going to look around. Are there any other guards nearby?
Not that you see.
What if I have my glasses on?
Not that you can see.
Okay, fair enough.
Narroth looks up. Okay, thank you. Narroth starts walking back. Come on, guys. We can find someone to show us where to go.
Yes, let's try and find someone as quick as possible. That's ridiculous.
A coup every week?
As they're leaving, and when they're out of sight, Narroth is going to alter back into his original form. All right, that deception was getting us nowhere. Now, where can we find some person that is willing to point us to a guard? We're clearly different enough now that we would not already know this information.
Well, why don't we try and find a tavern of some sort, or local place for eating and drinking?
Or, people. Narroth is going to look around. Does he happen to see literally anyone on the streets besides us?
Not necessarily on the streets, but there are taverns around you can walk into.
All right, perfect. We'll go to a tavern.
Okay. You walk into some random tavern. If you're next to the keep, it's going to be upper class. So you walk in, most of these people are dressed in fine linens, silks, that sort of thing. They appear to be drinking. There's a bard singing at this point.
Narroth is going to walk up to the barkeep and say, "Hello, we're new here, and we're looking for the constable. Any idea of where we can find this individual?"
The constable? What do you need? Someone in trouble?
You could say that.
Yeah, you can find a constable if you go down the street. It's a large building.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. He's going to pull out a gold and place it on the counter.
He is confused, but he takes it.
He walks out. All right. It looks like there is a constable over down the street. It's a big building. He says you can't miss it.
I guess we go there.
Yes, we're gonna go there.
We're
All
gonna
right,
go-
you can hit a constable pretty easy. Congratulations, you find a constable.
Okay. I'll go inside and is there some like desk person there, or
Yeah, there's a
is there
reception.
a reception person? Okay. I'm gonna like walk in kind of like dazed and kind of slam my hands down on the table. I was like, "Sir, we've been wounded."
I got a map for this one. So you can head into the constable and see a receptionist, and this lady goes, "What? Why aren't
Look-
you at the hospital if you're wounded?"
These people need to be arrested.
Shouldn't you get medical attention and have the doctors call us?
We're a little bit new in town. We don't know exactly how these things work. Now, we were attacked by someone by the name of Davik and his men. Would this be the place to contact about such matters?
If you're injured, you should go to a doctor.
Agreed. And for the rest of us who are not injured?
Well, do you want to file a report against Davik?
Yeah, I have something better. He obviously did not know who he was messing with when he tried to attack me and my fellow comrades here, and we managed to knock him out and apprehend him.
So you're holding Davik.
No, not currently. We escaped, and we'd like to come over here and try to see if we can bring you to him.
Where is he?
Last we saw him, he was in a barn a couple miles south. It was south, right?
It's about half a mile.
Oh, okay. Half a mile south.
Yeah, we'll get some guards there, but why is he in a barn?
Well, if we didn't want him waking up and giving us any surprises, so we, managed to get him away from his men. We didn't want the men to wake up and try to kill us all over again.
So you kidnapped him.
I mean, he attacked us.
So you responded by kidnapping him.
No, we responded by knocking him out. We just tried to, take it to a good place so that these fine men over here can, apprehend him and bring him to justice.
That isn't your job. Who exactly are you?
Like I said, we're from out of town. We just found someone who tried to kidnap us tried to attack us, and we responded by defending ourselves and then coming to you for some proper legal aid.
So who are you?
Well, my name is Narroth.
I'm Zarrius.
Bryn is off in the corner doing something. Probably.
That's Bryn.
Sorry, repeat that.
That's Bryn over there.
And what are you doing here exactly besides apparently starting trouble?
Well, we're trying to try to lead your men in order to arrest somebody who attacked us.
All right, we'll follow you. You see him or her go into the back room and pulls out about 4 guards, and exactly 4 guards. They seem to be wearing some sort of chainmail. They have a variety of different weapons, generally swords, glaives, great swords, to that effect. And they follow you up. Well, Narroth, lead the way.
Perfect. Narroth has a more criminal background and is not going to be ready to completely trust these guards. He's bought off enough of his own that he knows when some have ill intentions. Can Narroth do an insight check to see if these guards are going to try to indeed help him as he perceives it?
Go ahead. They don't appear to... They appear to be confused. If that makes sense.
Okay. In that case, Narroth is going to talk with them a little bit while they travel.
We're going to hold that scene right there so I can find out where the other people actually are. Phillip, what are you doing?
Okay, so Phillip and Yvette, well, while he's carrying the other two, they will both continue down the path, and Phillip has decided, after thinking for a bit, that it would probably be difficult to find housing as is, and he's likely not wanting to deceive people, so he's just going to keep trudging towards the city, taking a break every so often because he is carrying 2 people. And, well, pray for the best, as that's part of what he does.
So he's heading towards the city.
Pretty much.
You get to the city.
What does he see when he arrives?
Buildings?
I mean, does he see any guards or anything of that sort?
Not immediately. Not at the outskirts of it.
Oh, so you're still on the outskirts then.
Yeah, I mean, you're just entering in the city. There aren't going to be guards right in the townsy area.
Gotcha. Okay, so Phillip is going to actually... He said there aren't really... Is there maybe at least like one... Phillip's going to walk up to the city. He's going to actually look for a guard.
You can find one after a few minutes of wandering.
Okay, so when he sees the guard, he's going to, from a ways away, yell out, essentially saying, "Ahoy there, sir! I could use your help."
He looks at you with moments of surprise and then sees you carrying 2 people. And goes, "Who are you? What do you want? What are you doing?" He seems to be drawing his sword.
He says, "My name is Phillip. I'm trying to get these 2 gentlemen to people who would be able to help out their condition and try and get out of this rain."
Let's get you to the hospital right away.
He follows.
So you do you do rush to a church, not a church, a hospital, where it appears to be a lot of natural medicines going on. And he gets checked in, and as soon as he gets checked in, he gets inspected and goes, "Wait, this is Davik. Who are you?"
As I said, my name is Phillip.
And this guard seems to look warily, and you see him grab another person and goes, "Hey, get the other guards." And he seems to pull out his sword at this point.
Well, Phillip kind of just sits there, doesn't really react, and he just tells the guard, "Oh, there's no need for you to use that, sir. I have no intentions at all of resisting."
He pulls out a pair of manacles, or 2 pairs, I guess, because there's 2 of you.
Right.
Come with me. We will go to the constable.
Sure, but I don't feel those are necessary either.
They are necessary, and I'll confiscate your weapons as well.
You can take the weapons, but I'd rather not have the manacles on if possible.
That's not a choice.
Suit yourself. We've done nothing wrong.
Yeah. And you are arrested. I guess you're heading to the constable at this point? Probably as, we'll say, Narroth and crew are walking out.
So
Okay.
we see Phillip.
Probably, and Yvette as well.
Hi, Phillip.
Phillip turns and says, "Ah, well, there you are."
Does at least Narroth see him in handcuffs?
Yep.
Narroth is just gonna sigh.
Where are the others?
They're back in there, and Phillip indicates with his head towards the hospital.
Miss Guard Lady.
So I guess at this point the receptionist will come out of the constable. What's going on here?
It looks like there's been some misunderstanding.
There are reports about people breaking into barns, reports about Davik apparently getting injured or kidnapping people. What's going on?
Right. Well, the thing about Davik being injured is true, but in our defense, he did start it, which is why we came to you. Luckily enough, our friend Phillip here seems to have brought him into town. She looks
And
at Phillip
managed to
quizzically.
get him into the hospital before he, suffered more from his wounds.
All right.
Narroth is going to give a look over to the rest of the party.
All right, you're all under arrest. Take him to a questioning room.
Excuse me.
And guards are currently pulling manacles out to take you guys in.
So, why exactly? Narroth says while not resisting.
She's walking back into the thing, ignoring you.
But there's somebody else who's putting cuffs on us, right?
Yeah.
All right. So Narroth is going to ask this person, so what rule have we broken?
Look, you're under arrest. We'll get questions. We'll figure it out then. Best not to resist, especially right outside the constable.
Narroth is looking around while his hands are clearly, up, not resisting. All right. Do you have a reason for why you're putting us in manacles? We've done nothing to resist so far.
We just need to get this thing sorted.
Okay, well then you need to arrest 2 other people as well.
Right, because Davik is the person who is in the wrong here. Right.
The person who attacked us.
We'll get his story. Don't worry. And you guys are taken into a questioning room. Danny, I think we're gonna go on break early so I can figure out what is going on. If that's okay.
All right, we'll go on a break really quick, and we will be right back with more Low Rollers. And we are back with some more low rollers. Chris, you want to take it away?
Sure. So, you guys are escorted to a room. You're sat down. There's a table there. Four chairs are placed off on one side of the table, and there appears to be 2 chairs on the opposite side of the table. And you guys wait a couple minutes, and they'll take off your manacles. Manacles. Is that the right word? Yeah.
Yes.
Today. And you guys wait for a couple minutes, and 2 people will walk in. Neither of them appear to be armored or armed, but they do appear to be having a stack of papers in front of them. Yes. One person you recognize is the lady at the reception. She goes, "All right, we sent someone to go question Davik. What's going on?"
Well, let me just lay out what happened. So, earlier tonight, we were greeted by a guard, and we were told to give up our weapons. And
Guard?
It looked like one of your guards, and he confiscated. He told us that we needed to give up our weapons and put claws over our heads, because we were supposedly going to see Davik.
So why would one of my guards take you to go see Davik?
I don't know.
You sure it was one of my guards?
Nope.
It looked exactly like your guards.
In what way?
Same style of armor.
So every person who has armor is immediately a guard? If that's the case, this gray creature over here must be a guard as well.
No, just the specific look of your guard's armor. Each armor has their own specific look to it.
Out of character, the guard who picked you up was wearing plate, and these guards appear to be wearing chain.
Okay, well, fine. Since you didn't specify. Oh well, sorry, my bad. Maybe then one of Davik's guards picked us up and said that if we didn't give up our weapons, that he would have to force us to go with him. So we gave up our weapons. We went with him. He took us to some remote place about a mile outside of the town. And it was a lone standing building. We went inside. They took our hoods off, and we had met Davik. And he proceeded to tell the guard to give back our weapons. We gave back our weapons. He gave us back our weapons. We had a conversation with Davik. We are here on a diplomatic mission to try and gather resources for the crisis that we are having over on our home continent of Excelsior. We proceeded to try and negotiate with Davik to see if we can get some resources from him, and the only way that he would be willing to do that was for us to participate in a coup against the king, and we were not okay with that, and we wanted to leave, and he proceeded to not let us leave, and we were persistent in saying that we wanted to leave, and so he called out his quote-unquote minions, and they proceeded to attack us, and we defended ourselves and knocked everyone unconscious so as not to kill them. And then we wanted to bring this attention to the king, because it's not very good to set up a coup against him, and it's punishable in our continent.
Okay. So what's your evidence?
Our
Can't do
ev-
anything without evidence.
Our evidence was Davik and his little minion that we were bringing in as well. And our scars or our battle wounds. And I proceed to pull up my shirt and like show my wounds. And I tell everyone to like show them their wounds, the wounds that we got from the battle. The rest of the men are out at the building where the battle took place. If you go out there, the men should still be tied up that were Davik's minions, and there should be some serious burn damage to the building. Not serious, but some burn damage to the building from fireballs that Davik threw at us.
Also, if I may, Phillip speaks up. This may not necessarily count as evidence, but it is a point I would like to bring up to the constable, mainly because I was also fairly bewildered by this occurrence. But all of Davik's minions that we fought earlier, they seem to possess a form of magic, I guess, that allows them to transform into a sort of beast humanoid hybrid that he used to attack us. Which, also might I add, if you can, let someone know at the hospital that his minion is capable of doing that so you don't get caught by surprise.
Once we knocked them unconscious, they went back to their original form. Chris?
I think we might be having some technical difficulties right
okay.
now. Yeah, it looks like Chris is out. So let's just take this time to talk a little bit about our plans, how to move forward from this point. Not in character, but just as players, I guess.
Okay.
Well, speak the truth. Hopefully it all goes well.
Sure. That's been working so far.
Yeah.
I was sarcastic, by the way.
Uh-huh.
Well... never mind.
No, go for it.
No, I was just gonna say, technically, you and Zarrius tried to do the opposite of just that, so...
Well, I mean,
that
somebody had to
didn't
make
work.
some noise in a barn. It was going all fine
Right.
and dandy.
Because it's a good idea to have a full plate half-orc going to a bar.
Well, to be fair, Zarrius and I didn't put you in that barn.
That is true.
Yes.
But anyways, we kind of need a plan to get with the king. Because I don't think it's going to happen through this means.
Well, it seems like getting out of this conversation unscathed is going to be a little bit tricky in and of itself. It seems to me, no matter if we tell the truth or if we try to lie, they seem to take Davik's and those employed by Davik's word over ours, even when they're unconscious and not speaking.
Ooh, racial profiling.
They seem to just be predisposed towards this person, which is probably just the bribes that he's been paying out to the local constables. So,
Yeah.
so him being unconscious and not present, we're losing this argument. Once they become conscious,
It will
I
probably
don't
have been
see a
lost.
way
Yeah.
of us escaping this unscathed.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if it gets us to the king, then does it
Yeah,
matter?
but preparing to be before the king because he's going to be declaring your execution is slightly less than favorable circumstances.
True.
I mean, somebody's going to really have to do one hell of a persuasion roll.
Where's all the smooth talkers in our potty? Party?
Slightly accurate.
Dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
Seems like they all have potty mouths.
Or have gone and run off to their women. Or a woman, I should say. Well, it could be multiple women, depending on what's inside of...
Really?
I tried sneaking out or talking our way out of that situation. I did not expect him to tell me that that was going to be a performance roll rather than a deception check. I'm very good at one and only slightly good at the other.
I mean, performance did make sense.
I agree. In hindsight, it did make sense, but I just wasn't expecting it.
Fair enough. Yeah, I understand that.
All right, sorry about that.
Oh, Chris is back.
It happens every week where Discord crashes when I don't quite understand.
Anyways, back to the game.
Okay.
So what did you hear?
I heard Phillip say something and then I crashed.
Oh, alright, well, Phillip didn't say too much, so I guess I'll just go ahead and say that one more time. So, starting again with Phillip's little blurb, I suppose. If I may, I would like to bring to the attention of the constable that Davik's men seem to employ a rather unusual type of magic, I suppose, in the sense where they were capable of transforming into a beast-humanoid hybrid, and it's a rather unusual form of magic that I've seen. Just wanted to let you know, so you can notify the people in the hospital that they are capable of that, and to hopefully avoid any harm.
So let's just throw a hypothesis out there. What if you attacked Davik and we receive that statement from him? What evidence do you have proof against that? Yeah, there may have been a scuffle, you may have been hurt, but there's nothing to actually say Davik injured you or Davik kidnapped you.
It can be said the same both ways.
Yes,
It's mostly word of mouth.
Yes, but I know who Davik is, and I have no idea what you are, let alone who you are.
From my point of view, from the little that we've heard about this place, it seems like people try to overthrow the king at a regular basis. Now, again, you know Davik better than I do. Would he be the type of man to claim power for himself through this means? Seems that our story might hold up.
That's not the question here. The question is, how can you prove otherwise? Otherwise, I can't do anything. We can send you to court, it could be your word against his, and ultimately he'll pay off someone and you'll lose. That's the kind of man you're dealing with.
Go ahead.
No, go for it.
I was just going to say we are well aware of the fact that Davik bribes most people in this city with the money that he has. And I understand that we have no chance of even going to court or even just what he says right now. He's just going to say that we attacked him and you're going to take his word. We feel like we are unable to win in any sort of situation. So it's just our word against his, and
His word is stronger.
I understand.
So this puts us at an interesting point. What can you do to prove you're actually telling the truth? Can you prove anything?
Do you have some sort of magic to compel us to speak the truth?
Magic only goes so far. You can easily resist the magic.
Do
But
you,
if we were to submit ourselves and not resist the magic,
There's no guarantee of that. So
do you know where Davik's hideout is?
Davik has many hideouts. If you tell the truth, Davik probably would have sent you to a house that could be easily dispatched. It probably has a paper trail that doesn't even lead back to him.
We can lead you back to it right now. It's only been about an hour.
Yes, and Davik would be the type of person to have people checking on him quite often. The place is already being scrubbed as we speak.
Well, you asked for proof, and we can give you a whole house worth of it.
Yes, we'll send someone to check it out now, but things aren't looking well for you. So,
and we're also clearly submitting to not resisting any sort of magic you guys could conjure in order to detect if we were telling the truth or not.
you're missing the point that magic is not infallible. And also the people casting the magic is not infallible.
So if you won't accept physical evidence and you won't accept testimony, what will you accept?
I don't think you can win this.
Of course you don't. You've probably already been bought out by Davik.
She seems to be writing something on a piece of paper. And there's also no evidence about that. There's no points in that. If I was bought out by Davik, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Okay, so what's going to happen to us now that you're going to prove us guilty?
I can't prove you innocent or guilty. That's not my job. My job is to question.
Okay.
So what happens now? We've told you the full and unadulterated truth. We've given you a place to look for evidence. There's nothing more we can do.
She takes this piece of paper and puts it face down and seems to hand it over to Zarrius.
I'm unmanacled, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I flip it over and read what it says.
It says, go left, right, make a run for it.
I hand it to Narroth.
Narroth reads it, puts it back down on the table, face down, slides it over towards Phillip.
Phillip picks it up, reads it, does the same thing, and motions it to the next person.
Oh god. Alright, everyone reads the note.
Well, shall we?
After you.
She takes out her hand, and if you remember, I mentioned another person in the room sitting down. She takes it, and you see electricity sort of sparks from her hand, and she touches the other person, and that person goes unconscious. You should leave.
Phillip gets up and runs.
I get up and run.
Narroth gets up, looks back, thanks, and then runs.
And as you guys are walking through, you could be nicer next time. As you guys head out.
Oh, I didn't get to say goodbye.
And you guys leave.
Well, before they actually exit the building, Phillip does say, "What about our equipment?"
Your equipment hasn't necessarily been taken from you. The only weapon that was actually taken was Phillip's, and that was brought to the actual room with you. So it would have been like leaning up against the wall or something like that.
So we would have taken off everything before we left then.
I hope so.
Yes.
Yes. So we
Yes.
make a run for it.
Cool. So you guys follow the directions. Sure enough, that leads you to like a window that could be unlatched and you can walk out of. Basically, as you head out the window, you hear a bugle going on, and the guards appear to be mobilizing, but you guys can potentially get out unscathed.
When you say get out unscathed,
Unnoticed, unhurt.
Okay.
No. I mean, they have your descriptions, but they don't have anything that belongs to you. You're not hurt besides your previous wound. Probably a little tired at this point, but you know.
okay.
But you do end up outside the keep. Where are you guys going to go for the evening?
We should probably not stay inside the town for the night.
Yeah, we should leave town,
Immediately.
if not sooner.
Let's go.
And we're
Outside the
gonna
town.
book it outside of town.
Okay, as you guys, I mean, running outside of the town is probably not the best thing, but taking back alleys and trying to be nonchalant will probably work a little better for you. And Narroth would know that, so do you guys choose to take that approach?
If
Sounds
Narroth
good.
knows it, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Just booking it outside town probably isn't very subtle. So you guys find yourself in the residential district as you guys begin to head outside of the keep and further away from the constable. And you hear what appears to be a scream coming from one of the houses. And then there's some shouting.
Let's try and go see what that is without being noticed.
Are you saying that?
Yes, this is in character.
Narroth is going to look over. This is what they do for fun, remember? We already tried helping, doing things the lawful way once. I say we get out.
While I would like to agree, these are likely not people who are in the higher tier of the politics of this city. I would not like to simply just leave people who may very well need our help. I'm going to go and check it out. Phillip goes.
Bryn skip that whole conversation and just went anyways.
Okay. So Bryn's closer, and the party can catch up. What you hear push, push, and then another scream.
Oh. Does Bryn hear that, or does everybody hear that?
I think Bryn specifically would hear that.
Is there like a window that I can view in? Or is this
If you choose to get close enough to it.
Probably.
So as you approach the window, and the party will follow, and you hear like the greatest sigh of relief you ever heard before. It's just oh, and then you hear another man's voice say, "Oh no," and you sort of peer and you see, a doctor, quote unquote, he has like gloves on, that sort of thing. He has all the things that qualify him for a doctor. Then you see, a tiefling man and woman, but the child appears to have a paler skin tone and as the mother looks at this child, she goes, she starts to scream, and this doctor starts yelling, "Guards, guards!" Would you like to continue watching?
No.
I'm probably gonna back the party away from it.
Okay, where do you want to go?
I'm gonna say
Away.
Yeah.
Away.
Narroth, get us out of town.
Narroth nods. See? Weird stuff. And he's going to guide them through the back alleys until we get out of town.
Alright, you guys successfully get out of town. And you guys can find, still going to be on the open plains, but you can find a kind of thing like place yourself under a tree or something like that. Just kind of give you some support, but you're not going to find much once you travel far. And it's fairly late.
Okay. So we find a nice quiet spot to sleep.
Yeah, taking ships to watch.
Okay.
Does someone want to volunteer for first watch?
Narroth will take first watch.
I'll take second.
Phillip will go third.
I'll fill whatever space needs filling.
Yvette sleeps. Alright, so Narroth, who was second?
Me.
Phillip was third, Bryn could be fourth, and Yvette sleeps tonight.
Sure.
Cool. First watch goes by uneventfully. Second watch will be Zarrius, correct?
Correct.
What would you like to do during your watch? Let me rephrase. So, as you start to go through your watch, you start to feel the presence of divine energy surrounding you. Energy from every week, someone's alarm goes off. Is that just me?
Yes, it is just you.
Okay, it's okay. It's, perfect. I'm going crazy. You feel the divine energy of energy from the astral city or the heavens. What would you like to do about it?
I would like to convene with said energy. Are we talking heavens, right?
It feels heavenly.
Okay, so I'm going to start meditating.
You feel the presence of your deity begin to forming. You find yourself in the familiar forest looking at Obad-hai, the tree of life.
I do a specific form of respect, you might say, that I would know
Sure.
in meditation, and do that as a greeting.
Welcome, Zarrius.
Hello, sir.
You haven't been in balance recently.
Yes, I can't make up excuses for you. I haven't been meditating as much as I should have.
It's not just that. Tell me your woes. Maybe I can provide wisdom.
Sorry, give me a second.
You see him sway in the wind a little bit. The divine energy over enveloping you.
I want to be the best possible person I can be, and for my party on this diplomatic mission, but I feel like I'm not doing the best job I can, and I'm not too sure what I can be doing, need to be doing better.
Well, tell me about it. What is going on in your diplomatic mission?
Well, as you are well aware, I have another quote-unquote master, and I want to get my mother back. And the deal that he made with me is if I get the Wounded King captured and locked back up, he will give me back my mother.
Ah, yes, the Wounded King. It's been causing such a ruckus.
And we are here on this continent to get the aid of specific leaders to help us in combating him. We tried getting the help of Davik, but we were unsuccessful. And now we're kind of on the run, and we're trying to hail the king to see if we can get his assistance, but it doesn't look like we've put ourselves in a bad situation, to say the least.
The place you're at is one of the worst there is.
I can see that. I've been distraught over the happenings of this place.
Just remember that even the worst people can be saved. Remember the 3 tenets of Obad-hai. Everyone is deserving of life. He is the tree of life, and his roots grow deep. And therefore, everyone is deserving of the tree of life if they choose to have it. Instead of trying so much to get them to help, to join your cause, make sure you are showing them what life truly is.
And how would I do that?
Oh, I think that's part of the task you must figure out. You need to be diplomatic? What does that mean? You know, we don't call our people to follow governmental ties, especially ones as corrupt as this one. But are you respecting life? Seems like you were trying to get someone arrested. Is that really respecting life, even if he is such a bad man?
No.
And it seemed it seemed to take you away from your goals and not forward.
I see.
Yes. Respect life. And if you can respect life, you will gain more respect for your person and therefore be able to hopefully achieve your goals a little more soundly.
Okay, I will do that.
There are good people where you are at. You need to find them. Find the people who are willing to help, not necessarily the people who are committing evil.
And when it comes to finding those good people, are we talking like the person who let us out of prison just now?
She is probably one of them. She understands that the world is corrupt, and I guarantee there'll be other people.
Yes.
Take after her example. She showed you that Davik has a lot of power, and the government itself can't be trusted. So maybe there's another source.
Source of
Goodness. Of life.
okay. Did you say that there were other things I needed to work on when it came to that?
Sorry?
Sorry, I think you had said something along the lines of there were three things.
Three tenets. One, everyone is deserving life. Two, Obad-hai is the tree of life. His roots grow deep. Three, everyone is deserving of the tree of life if they deserve to have it.
Ah, okay. Yes. And what can I do to better myself as the leader of the group besides the respecting life?
Well, breaking into barns of a father worried about his daughter is probably not the best choice.
I didn't know they were going to do that.
That's understandable, but there are people who care about other people. And you need to make sure that you care about your party, but make sure that they're leading morally correct decisions, including respecting people's property.
Correct. That won't happen again.
Oh, it probably will.
It probably will, but I will try and prevent it as much as possible.
He seems to smile. Get some rest. You have a long day ahead of you.
Thank you.
And you find yourself back at the campfire. Some time has passed, but nothing seems to have happened.
Okay. I probably will continue to meditate as my shift goes on with sort of awareness to my surroundings.
Sure. Nothing happens. You do once in a while see guards going by, but for the most part, you guys are pretty well hidden, and they don't seem to take too much notice of you.
Okay.
Especially since you guys would have like cloaks on and that sort of nonsense. But third shift happens. Phillip, do you want to do anything?
Other than agonized by the poor choices that he didn't try to prevent? No. He's definitely reading his book, his good book.
Bryn, would you like to do anything during your walk?
She probably takes out her compass and looks at it for a little bit.
Okay.
And waits till the end of her watch, basically.
Well, the end of her watch involves everyone's turn.
I thought Yvette had a watch first.
Yeah, she did. She would have taken another fifth watch. Sure. Yvette will wake up.
Okay. I'll probably be the one to wake Yvette up when it's time for her watch because she doesn't wake up on her own.
That's fair.
Yvette. Shakes a little bit.
Her eyes are bloodied looking. Goes, what?
Wait, are you okay?
Ugh, need water. Or coffee. Or ale.
Well, I'll find you some water. She'll find her some water.
Okay, well, that's the water skin you would have.
Yeah. It's time for your watch.
Oh, okay. Sure. You see her sort of stand up and like slump against the tree. Probably stoking the fire a little bit, trying to get it back up.
Bryn will stand next to her, slumped against the same tree.
Did you want to get some sleep?
I think I've gotten enough for tonight.
Alright.
Do you, have you noticed anything weird about this place?
I noticed everything weird about this
Well, besides the obvious, that is.
place. I don't think so.
There sure are a lot of tieflings around.
Yes, but I don't know much about tieflings in general. No offense.
No, it's okay. But usually when there's a group of tieflings around, there's usually some other race too that the tieflings came from.
I'm afraid I'm not following.
You know how tieflings work, right?
They make a deal with the devil and they become red.
Right. Or I guess blue here.
That's a little peculiar.
But they came from a different race originally.
Yes, like Zarrius is some dwarf thing and you're human thing.
Right, and usually there should be humans around. Tieflings can have tiefling babies, but they can also have human babies.
So, you're saying there should be humans of some sort?
There should be. And, well, we saw one.
I didn't really take a look in. Screaming's not my thing.
Well, there was a newborn human. And then the doctor called for guards.
You see her look confused for a second, and then the realization comes to mind. Oh. I see. Oh. Oh god.
Do you, we should have stopped it.
If I process that, well, I could have gotten that baby out without too much fuss.
I didn't think. I didn't connect until now.
You see Yvette stand up and she sort of stretches for a second. Well, you know what we must do, right?
Say it again.
You know what we must do, right?
We have to do something, right?
Exactly. Let's go save a baby.
She, Bryn smiles. It's kind of a sad smile, but it's a smile. Yeah, let's go save a baby.
You see her walk over towards Phillip, who likely has his gear sort of stowed, takes his short sword and the scabbard and attaches his to her belt. Yeah, let's go save a baby.
How are we gonna save a baby?
Well, the first thing to do is
I guess we gotta talk to the parents.
We can find the house, track them from there.
Okay.
It was raining, but it shouldn't do too much to the tracks.
What do we do about them? She
Eh,
motions over to everybody who's still sleeping.
Narroth and Zarrius could help, but Phillip would make too much noise.
Yeah, he's really good at that.
Unfortunately. I mean, we can wake them up too.
I think it might be better if we let them sleep a little bit longer. It's a lot harder to find 2 people than it is to find 4 or 5 or however many there are of us.
Alright, let's go.
And off they go.
And
And they were never heard from again. I'm just kidding.
Well then.
Go ahead.
So, the dawn's approaching at this point, and Yvette and Bryn are wandered to town, started keeping the back roads. Both of them are rather light on their feet, and it doesn't appear like the town's quite awake yet. And they approach the same house where the baby was born, and you sort of hear almost like whimpering. And Yvette sort of puts her finger to her lips and goes, shh. And she sort of starts scouting out tracks around the ground.
So just Bryn is probably going to stand there bored for a second and then kind of place her ear against the wall to see if she can hear a little bit better into whatever is going on in there.
It's like whimpering, crying, so the dialogue isn't necessarily clear, but something about losing their third kid.
Oh. Okay. Bryn's going to then start helping track, basically. No, same exact score.
So the guards generally wear heavy armor, so there's definitely a footprint that could be followed in. There are heavier indents on their footprints than an unarmored person would be, so you can get a pretty good idea of which direction they went.
Okay, start following in that direction.
Okay, about 20 minutes of following this track as well as you can, because there's probably avoiding the main street still, so you're kind of trying to track it through back alleyways, even though they went through the front. That makes sense?
Yeah.
And you arrive at what appears to be a rather large wooden building, and these footsteps seem to walk in. It's about 3 stories. You can tell that there's a basement as well. And an attic, I guess, too.
So is there only a door, like a front door in, or is there other entrances other than windows?
So there is a front door in the back. And there's something going into the basement.
Okay. What's the game plan?
I don't know, I was just gonna track it. Maybe we should grab everyone else at this point.
I mean, how sneaky are you?
I mean, if I don't burp, I'll be okay.
Okay. If, let's say I cause a racket out here, do you think you could get in and get out pretty easily?
I can definitely get in and get out, but being unheard is a different question.
So,
Good as fine as any, though.
Bryn will go ahead and just pull her pistol out of her holster and point to the basement entrance, basically. She says, that might be your best way.
No, I'll be able to see more. If you track him outside, I can go inside the house and see what's going on.
Okay.
We can always check the basement later after we clear the area.
Okay. Get ready then.
She's going to basically crouch underneath the window.
Okay. Bryn will cock back the hammer on her pistol and fire 3 quick shots and then try to hide somewhere.
Alright. Go ahead and give me a stealth check.
Oh, great. Hey!
Oh, Jesus. So she goes in, she, basically as she hears people running out of the house, you see her, look into the window, and then she disappears, Misty stepping inside the house. Goes inside to explore. You cause a commotion for maybe about 10 minutes or so, and she's in there exploring, and you see her figure coming from the 3rd floor, and she's looking out, and you can see like the color is drained from her face, and she shifts back onto the ground level, and you see her kind of collapse for a brief second.
What'd you find?
It's they're taking their blood.
What?
There's just there are human and elves like bodies, and they're taking their blood.
Did you find the baby?
It's best we don't talk about that.
Oh. Okay.
We need to go back, and then we need to do something.
Okay.
And she's like kind of having trouble standing.
Okay, Bryn will throw her arm around her shoulders and basically leave in the opposite direction and go through the back alleys to try to get out quickly, but not suspiciously.
Sure. You guys can get out pretty easily. And you guys head back to camp?
Yep.
It's about dawn at this point, so everyone can start waking up.
Is this before they get back?
The watch would have been like an hour and a half or so, so... No, they'll probably get back before you arrive.
Before we wake up?
Yeah. Or,
Okay.
yeah, that. Greenbush.
Well, Phillip wakes up, notices he doesn't have his other weapon stowed. Likely, or, well, does Yvette put it back, or does she still have it?
She still has it.
What?
She still has it.
Okay. He looks towards her and he says, wait, why do you have that on you?
She's like... I don't want to say she's dry heaving, but she looks like she's breathing heavily and does not appear to be speaking.
Bryn is probably sitting next to her, like, hand on her back, like, rubbing it reassuringly, basically.
What happened?
It's, let me talk about it with you over here. And she kind of, like, pulls Phillip to the side.
Okay.
They're harvesting.
Pardon?
They're harvesting people.
It takes Phillip a couple of seconds to register, and then, as loud as a half-orc could possibly yell, he says, "What?"
Do you remember the screaming, the crying?
Yes, what about it?
You remember what it was?
I didn't really get to see a good look since you were pushing us away before we got close enough.
Well, they're taking all the non-tieflings and taking their blood, I guess. She saw more than I did, but
Is Phillip skilled in nature?
No.
Roll it anyway. Or roll religion. You can roll religion too.
Religion. Okay, I can do that.
Blood is an alchemical ingredient. Illegal
Alchemical.
in Excelsior.
Illegal in Excelsior. Okay.
she
Would
saw
you-
more of it than I did, but from what she describes, it's bad.
You see Philip's face initially shocked, and then for a couple of seconds afterwards, you see probably the most furious expression you've ever seen on his face. Which, given how he had been acting, is kind of unnatural, but then he kind of takes in a deep breath, goes back to a more or less shocked expression, and then he says, "Those barbarians. I'm going to just get some food together, some water. I'm going to try and help Yvette settle down a bit while I gather my own thoughts."
Yeah, and Zarrius and Narroth can wake up too.
Morning.
You guys can sense it's very strained.
There is dread.
You can cut the tension with a butter knife.
Oh, salutations? You kind of
Every-
see Philip like getting food together, tending to Yvette, who's rather distraught.
Everything will go okay during your shifts last night?
No,
What'd you do?
well, do you remember that couple? Whose baby? Look,
Yes.
there's something very wrong with this city. Even worse than before.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's safe for anybody else to be here but us.
Us as in...
You and me.
How come?
We, Yvette and I tried to find that child. Yvette did, but let's just say that the city guards are bleeding them.
Wait. What was that word?
Bleeding. They're taking their blood. As well as other things, I imagine.
Are you serious?
I mean, she can tell you more, but give her some time first.
Yeah, I would imagine.
But if that's happening here, then I don't know.
everyone but us is in danger.
Well, we are not the same as them either. They're blue. I don't know if that means they would take us too.
Right.
But regardless of that, if this is our army, then what does that mean for Excelsior when they get over to our continent and suddenly have the power?
It means we're wasting our time here. You see my character sit up for a second. It means even if they help us win this battle against the Wounded King, we will lose the war for our continent. Our time is better spent looking to gather an army on Excelsior.
But what about what Miles said?
Miles has never been here. He doesn't know the depths of their depravity.
They can't all be like this. She's kind of looking back at the city.
All evidence to the contrary.
I had a moment with Obad-hai last night. And he brought to my attention that there are good people in this city. And that we need to seek those people out and find them. And make it so that they know that they're helping to save another life.
What constitutes good in a place such as this?
Well, for example, that office lady let us go.
The
Gave
office
us
lady broke her code, defied everything she stood for in order to do the right thing.
Exactly.
That is the best we can find.
That's one of them. There's more.
Maybe Davik's coup wasn't what we thought it was. Maybe it's worse.
Meaning,
Well, if he wants to overthrow the king, and the king is doing this,
You heard him, though. All he wanted was power. He didn't want to actually change things.
well, we know there's at least 3 people in this city who won't stand for this. There has to be more.
I think we should go and try and find any people that are on our side with this. But I'm not
What
exactly...
side? The side of not publicly torturing people? The side of not with kids? Ugh.
the side of life. That their lives matter, that everyone's lives matter, and I'm not too sure what we would do once we have gotten those people, but we can...
Well, maybe our army is just a little bit different.
Than what we had planned or hoped for.
We have to be sure about these people, though. We're bringing them to our continent. If they bring their lust for this over to our continent, it could infect us worse than the Wounded King ever has.
I'm not too sure how we need to be going about doing this either.
We have one ally.
You're saying the desk clerk?
Yeah. Maybe she knows more. But
Right.
if history has taught me anything, all it takes is a spark and a fire will ignite.
Yes. So, the real question is, how do we get back to her without being seen by the guard?
Narroth?
There is always a way to do that. The question really is she going to be a good person twice? Risk herself twice?
There's only one way to find out.
Who is going?
Well,
Can you do it to someone other than yourself, Narroth? Or is it just alter self, meaning yourself?
I can use magic to change myself. To change others is a whole nother area. I can do minor alterations, but I can't do what I do with me.
how minor?
I can give someone scales that would protect them from danger. I can give someone wings so they can fly away. I can't change you into something you're not. I can just change certain parts of you.
Well, if you can find her,
Maybe what we can do is give her a note of her own. Go up to her, slip her a note like she did to us, and see how she responds.
That sounds like that would be something I could do. It would just come with a great element of risk. Are we sure she is worth this risk? Of us being imprisoned, our goal failing, and us never making it to where we need to go.
I think this city is worth risking over our lives over.
at least some of the people in it.
Are going to be very thankful that we intervened.
I truly hope you're right.
As do I.
If we save a life, then we're right.
But if we lose a continent, we may be wrong.
We will still have been right.
I hope your optimism is well-founded.
Hasn't failed me yet.
Can you do it, Narroth?
I can do it.
So, we'll probably just have you go in on your own. We'll probably stay out here for the time being and see what happens. Are you okay with that?
Yep. You say it's important, I'll do it.
Stay safe.
And may God bless you.
I'll stay safe at least. And I guess Narroth is going to go and find a note.
Write down something on a parchment.
Sure.
Phillip would have paper and ink, I would say.
Perfect. I'm going to grab the parchment, and hopefully he also has an ink pen, and look up to them and say, well, if she's going to join us, we should have her meet us outside of town so as not to raise any suspicions. Now, if we are going to be smart about this, we should see if she brings any backup with her just in case she decides to take this another way. Any ideas of something that could be a good secluded area that we could take her to make sure she's not being followed?
Bryn will just flip her rifle off of her back. We'll be fine.
So you want to meet her here?
Yeah. We'll clear out. Keep an eye on everything. But
all right.
Have Phillip with you when you meet.
Phillip is going to be instantly recognizable.
Well, when you meet out here.
All right. Narroth writes a note to basically meet at this, I don't want to say address, but this location.
Sure. Perfect.
Bryn will probably suggest that you include the note she gave us or write down the same directions. Just so it's clear who's giving her this note.
I was thinking that I'd do it on the back of the note that she gave us.
Oh,
or
cool.
Fold it in half a couple times so that it's one of the hidden pages.
Oh, clever.
Cool.
Let's talk about mechanics real quick. First of all, go ahead and take the benefits of a short rest for our rest rules, so make sure that gets marked. And yeah, so make sure that happens. And then how is Narroth going to approach?
Narroth is going to alter self so he looks like a blue tiefling. Probably not the exact same one as before, but the character is definitely based on that one.
Okay, so youngish.
Yeah, like a child messenger, which I hope exists in this culture.
Probably. How are you going to look for her? Are you going to drop it off at the constable?
Yeah, so I'm going to basically, if I remember correctly, this was the same person that we saw at the entrance last time, correct?
Sorry, one more time?
Was this the same officer that we saw at the entrance? Who was behind the desk?
which kind of strikes you as odd that the same person who was at the reception desk was also questioning you.
Okay. In that case, Narroth is going to look and see if she is still at the reception desk.
Yeah.
Okay. Then Narroth, as the child, is gonna what in the inside of the constable's station does there seem to be a lot of activity at the moment, or not a lot of activity?
It seems like it's the end of the shift, so there's a lot of bickering, exhaustion sort of thing.
Okay, so there's a lot of people populating the station.
Yeah, like people are coming in, new people are coming out. Fresh
Okay.
people.
Narroth is going to hold back and wait for a time in which he can either get the woman alone or at least when she's away from the mass populace.
I mean, her station's pretty steady, so basically all I have to do is wait for a guard to check in. She marks down something on a piece of paper, and then they go away, and then she has a couple minutes maybe before the next person comes.
Okay, in that case, Narroth is going to go up as the young tiefling and say, "Hello, I was told to give you this." And he's going to hand over the piece of paper. And then he's going to say, "Okay, thank you," and just basically walk out.
She looks like she's about to stop you, and then you can kind of see the fatigue in her face, and she kind of goes, and then you walk out.
Perfect. Narroth is going to walk out as the, innocent child until he gets to the outskirts of town, and then he's going to be much more cautious, looking over his shoulder, seeing if the woman got the message.
You see her reading it. She, I would call it like a second wind. She sort of wakes up, like more alert, and she's looking around, but she doesn't react to it per se. Besides that.
Okay. Now we told her to meet us in a specific area. Does she look like she's making her way over to that area?
No.
I see.
I mean, out of character, she needs to finish her shift. She can't just leave.
Okay, sorry. I thought you said she was. They were taking a break of shifts.
Right, but that doesn't necessarily mean she can leave immediately. I mean,
Okay.
you still have to clock out. Put your badge somewhere. I don't know, like basic logistics. Unless you're waiting for her to finish that.
No, that'd be fine. I'm just gonna wait outside of town for about an hour before I start investigating further.
So an hour goes by, and probably like half an hour goes by, and you see her grab her like a cloak of some sort, and she appears to be heading out of town.
Perfect. Narroth is going to try to follow her from a distance, trying not to be seen by her specifically. I mean, anybody else, it doesn't really matter because they wouldn't recognize this little tiefling child, but she would.
Yeah, I don't think she'll have the wherewithal to be able to do that, but you also have to remember that your spell would go up after an hour.
Ooh, I'd probably recast it.
Okay. So she'll yada yada. She heads out of town. She doesn't appear to necessarily be looking for you specifically.
Okay, I mean, good. Okay, so does she go to this secluded spot that we told her to meet us in?
Yeah, but let's go back to the rest of the party. See if they just stand there or how do they handle the approach. Party, how do you handle the approach?
Well, personally, Bryn would probably find a nice spot that she can view from afar, but close enough that it's in range.
Um, I mean, yeah, Bryn can see very far away currently, so.
Well, a place where her rifle can see.
Okay. So you can place yourself like 100 some odd feet from them. Find like a nice tree to crouch in or something like that.
Cool.
Zarrius?
Are we like surrounded by plains?
Pretty much, and like farmhouses and stuff.
I'm gonna, since the is it mostly grapes around us?
Grapes and olives. One
So-
apple field.
Okay.
Sorry, that doesn't matter.
So, I would like to kind of, I don't know, I'll probably be in the tree of some sort and try and camouflage myself as best as possible in the tree.
Phillip?
I know you said we're in the plains, but are there any huge rocks in the area?
No.
Damn. Phillip is going to take a very similar approach to Bryn, but he will probably, let's see, our meeting place isn't close to a barn or of any sort like that, right?
It doesn't have to be.
Well, let's say it is. Phillip is essentially going to be, I guess, hiding around the corner of a barn where he's kind of leaning with his back on it and looking around the corner. He's also going to try and be hiding from anyone who actually lives there so that they don't notice anything suspicious.
Sure. And we'll put Yvette with Zarrius, I guess. And so this lady approaches the meeting spot. Who is actually meeting with her?
I think we all assumed Narroth was meeting with her.
Yes.
Good assumption.
And she stands there, like looks around, kind of shrugs and waits a couple minutes or so.
Perfect. Narroth is going to walk up with her in child form, I should say.
Sure.
Well, hello.
Oh, it's you.
Yeah. Who are you expecting?
Something else.
Yeah? Like what?
It's been a long night. I don't really have time for this. Why don't you tell me what's going on?
Well, I mean, my friends and I were wondering. You seem to be very, you
Who are
know,
your friends?
not corrupt.
Who
Oh,
are
you
your
met us
friends?
earlier. Don't you remember?
Enlighten me.
Well, there was 2 red tieflings. There was a guy in really clanky metal armor. There was a police station or constable station involved. Catching my drift?
Yeah. So why am I here?
Well, we've noticed that you are a little bit more, let's say, morally bound than the rest of your compatriots. We were wondering if you'd like to join us in a fight to free our land from the wounded king.
She looks at you. Our land, huh? She waves her hand around, and you see glimmers of magic go in front of her, and you feel your disguise fading from you.
Narroth is going to stand up at his full 6 foot something height, kind of arches back. Oh, that's much better.
I see. Magic user.
Yes.
And where are your friends?
Close by.
I slide down the tree, landing on the ground, probably 5-10 feet away from them.
Always close by.
Well,
Peace.
Phillip
I don't think we're enemies.
also steps out from behind the barn and approaches the group.
I wasn't kidding when I made my offer. We actually find you to be a morally exemplary member of your society. We need more people like you to help us fight this enemy of our land.
I hate to break it to you. One person isn't going to change anything.
But do you know of anyone else who tends to feel the same way that you do?
I have to be honest. I met you some 10 hours ago, and the circumstances were not kind.
That's true. But even under that pressure, you maintained your morality where others have failed before you. This is not a fully fledged roaring flame that we're trying to add you to. We need a spark. Someone who we can point to as an example of a person from this area that not only is a good person, but a person who refuses to morally compromise like everyone around her.
My point is you're asking for a lot from me, and I have no idea who you are.
Then get to know us. Come with us. You'll find out who we are. Surely there's some way that you can be off your work for at least a day or so.
To do what?
To see who we are. The only way you can know that we are who we say we are is to be with us for that time. There is no amount of words that can convince you as much as actions can.
Seems very risky.
But you stuck your neck out this far. Why not if you're not willing to do more?
Because I have an escape route right now. I can just disappear out of here.
It's true. But I think you have more character than that.
Look, I have friends, but I don't know if you should be introduced to them. What if this is all a ploy to get to know them? I'm sure I'm under watch.
As you can probably have guessed by our introduction to this town, we don't exactly know anything about the local politics or culture here. We don't even know well enough to know who the people you're referring to might be. There's not much you can trust, but you can trust our ignorance.
Look, even if you were telling the truth, we have other priorities.
What are your priorities?
Saving lives, taking names?
Saving lives from whom?
The people who wish to take them.
And who is the group you're representing?
I think that knowledge is for privileged people.
And what must we do to deserve this privilege?
She seems to pause. Look, if you're really new to this town, there are things going on that need to be fixed. And I am here to help fix it. But we don't have time necessarily for your king that's hurt or something like that. I don't quite understand. But that's not my priority.
What can we do, though, to help you?
She lets out this horrendous laugh for a split second and goes, "You wanna kill the king?"
You work for Davik?
No.
Then why do you want the king dead?
No, that information can get me killed.
Well, as we have been trying to impress upon you, for our group, morality and the reasons why people do things matter. If you want us to be of any sort of use to you, that is one thing you will have to comply with.
See, you came to me for help. I did not come to you for help. That's a big difference.
If I may interject.
She seems startled.
Oh, my apologies, miss. Did not wish to surprise you like that, but, Sir Narroth, would you at all consider the possibility of, how do I put this? We can consider her an ally, however, she does, as she has expressly stated, have very important matters to which she needs to attend to within this city. As I said, we can consider her an ally. However, I feel that it may be best in this particular circumstance that she continue doing the work that she's doing. And if I were to take the impression that I have of her and consider that to be an accurate representation of who she is as a person, I would actually quite like that she remain here for the time being. Miss, and Phillip turns towards the receptionist, if this is just a hypothetical idea, I suppose, if we were to trust you to remain here in the city, continue interacting with your allies, continue doing the good work that you do, if we were to say that we would be most glad to hear that you are doing such things, would we eventually be able to reach out to you, request your assistance, because our continent is currently facing a grave danger. This danger, should it completely destroy this country, will very likely spread out. It may come here, it will go elsewhere. You said that one person wouldn't make a huge difference. I completely beg you to reconsider that statement, mainly because one person can reach out to many, and then those many become many more. And even if we don't get the ideal number of people that we require for this endeavor, you will still make a difference, whether it be big or small. A snowball becomes larger as it continues to go down the slope, gathering up more snow, and eventually could possibly become strong enough to topple over a great tree. I would like for you to consider perhaps being that snowball and just gathering more snow around you. How does that sound?
She pauses for a second and seems to take a couple minutes maybe, but to You can see like the thoughts running through her eyeballs as she takes a solid. Does anyone want to interject as she's thinking?
No. At least not I.
My allies are few and we are very busy. We've already lost someone recently. I cannot guarantee I will be there to help whatever your cause is.
Well, even if it is not a guarantee, your thoughts would be most appreciated. Your intentions would also be most appreciated. So long as there is a possibility, I think that is much better than there being 0% chance of getting help from good folks such as yourself.
Interesting.
When she says that, Phillip gives her a disarmingly cheerful smile.
You can see like the fatigue and that breathes a moment, and then she returns back with her, her emotionless face. She's kind of trying to give up. Probably unsuccessful.
Probably what, I'm sorry?
Unsuccessfully.
Oh.
Is this her business then?
I've said my piece. I don't know if anyone else has anything to add.
I have nothing to add.
Sir Narroth?
No, I think we've said our piece.
Well, good best days to yourself, little miss, and Phillip gives a courteous bow towards her. I do hope we get to see each other again on more lawful and, more better circumstances.
Where is the other two of your acquaintances, peers, friends?
Is she asking that in character?
Yes.
Oh.
Well, I know one is somewhere over there. Phillip points in the general direction of Bryn. And then the other one, well, he uses his head to indicate the tree that Zarrius just slid down from.
She jumps down. Yvette has a look of anger in her face.
Phillip is slightly surprised and says, "Are you alright?"
People are dying here. And what are we doing about it?
Well...
Her voice starts to get louder as you hesitate. What are we doing about it?
I will admit, I would love to be able to... At this point, Phillip starts pondering deeply.
Yvette is going to look over to where Bryn would have been stationed and indicates for her to come over.
Bryn will come over. And, I mean, it's going to take a little bit. Unless nothing else happens, then I can just...
So, Yvette is going to rant a little bit. We know people are getting hurt. Yet, we do nothing. We stand here, and we make deals for something of the future where there's work to be done now. what kind of people are we if we're not to help?
You see Phillip, he's still pondering, but then a couple of seconds after Yvette is done speaking, he kind of perks up. He looks towards the receptionist. And
Bryn could answer at this point.
Go ahead, Danny.
Probably hearing Yvette's rants.
Right.
Or like the latter.
Go ahead and finish up, Danny.
well, what he was gonna say is, actually, I'm sorry, out of character. Did we ever get a name for this person? I don't remember.
Well,
doing that.
let me. I'm gonna come in and do something regarding that.
Okay.
So Bryn will walk up and say, "Hi, I'm Bryn. Seems like we're not killing each other. What's your name?"
Bryn. It's an interesting name. It's a name similar to people around here. It's just has a similar tone.
And your name, Miss?
For this purpose, I'll go by the name Jennifer.
Jennifer.
Seems to serve a similar purpose to my name, but At this point, Phillip turns towards Narroth and Zarrius, and he says, "Well, boys, I know we caused quite a bit of trouble in this town. I'm generally not the type to continue that trouble, but I
Jennifer?
certainly did not like what I saw here."
Jennifer?
Yes.
Yvette and I, well, Yvette mostly, saw what they've been doing to people.
What did you see?
Yvette, do you want to describe?
She, you can see her getting, like, angrier at the situation. If you want my opinion, we should just go over to that building and burn it down. And this, Jennifer goes, "What building?" And Yvette goes, "The one where they're killing people." And Jennifer is sort of taken aback. "Oh, I see."
Yeah, we found a building.
There are many like it. Many like it.
You mean there are many buildings where infants that are not tieflings are being killed for their blood for alchemical purposes?
Interesting way to put it, but yes.
How would you put it?
Some people are trying to keep purity, per se.
Well, screw purity. This is no reason to be killing infants who have not done anything wrong in this world.
I know.
You kind of see Phillip flare up, and he says, "You know what? Screw diplomacy at this point. I say we destroy these people. This has infuriated me beyond anything I've felt before."
I will not condone the killing of anyone.
But you condone the killing of the children.
I'm not condoning the killing of the children. No one should have their life taken. Life is a gift that we just take for granted all too often.
My good Sir Zarrius, if I don't know that anyone deserves the gift of life if they're taking it from somebody else. I too embrace similar ideology to yourself. I just have a very hard time thinking that. Kind of just see Phillip turn away for a bit.
It is a very bad situation.
Jennifer looks around and she kind of gives a small chuckle. Ironically, the use of human blood, or any blood really, could help extend life.
Who wants to live a long life?
That's not a question I know the answer to.
Bryn is gonna kind of walk past Jennifer, but kind of like, well, she'll just say, "Do you mind talking with me for a second?"
Is this where you take me and kill me?
No. You must have had a long night.
Yes.
We want to help you. But I know that may not be what you're looking for.
Look, we lost another child last night, and that's all we're trying to do. But the wrong doctor was helping the wrong person.
Well, I don't know what they asked you for, but if nothing else, would you be willing to think on it? Us helping you?
As I told your friends, unless you want to help defeat the people who have these laws in place, there's not much to do besides to preserve as much life as possible.
Well, you can tell, she looks back at like Phillip and Zarrius arguing about life, and I don't know, Yvette's probably pretty pissed off too. You can see we're kind of passionate on the subject. I think if what it takes to make sure that people are safe, we'd be willing to fight for you.
Even with your other problems you're dealing with?
Let me worry about the other problems. I'll say for the group, we are willing to fight for you.
I can't guarantee my friends will be willing to talk to you. I'd recommend you guys be here at dusk, and if we show up, we show up. If we don't, we don't. That won't be my choice.
All I can ask is that you ask.
She nods. Now I need to get some sleep.
Yes, please do. We've been probably more than one headache for you already.
Dusk, same place.
We'll see you or whoever here, if that's what you decide.
She nods and she sort of puts up the cloak, has it wrapped around tighter, puts up the hood on the cloak, and begins to walk off.
Bryn will walk back.
And see, we're supposed to help people. Who cares about the Wounded King if we can't do anything at this point?
Yvette's saying that?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, in response, Phillip says, "Quite frankly, I must agree. I was thinking a little too big picture that I sadly didn't think smaller picture, so for that I apologize to all of you here as well as to those who I was supposedly working for." You can kind of tell Phillip hangs his head in shame for a bit, kind of sits and pulls out one of his books and starts to go through the book.
Bryn,
Mm-hmm.
what's our plan?
Well, for now, we wait till dusk. If they want our help, they'll ask for it then.
And do you think this is a good idea?
Of course.
Killing the king.
Well, the king can't be in power anymore.
It's interesting how we were thinking so differently when it was a shady person trying to kill the king for a clear reason. But now that is a clear person trying to kill the king for a shady reason, we are suddenly on board.
I would say the reason is clear as day.
You know that they are against this thing and want the king dead. We have not yet confirmed that those are connected.
We have also not confirmed that it is the king who is the person in power that she mentioned.
She did say that, out of character. She did say that specifically, right?
She made the
She said, do you want to kill the king?
Of killing the king.
She did say to kill the king?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I
Can you,
retract that statement.
can you repeat that last part for me, Narroth?
I was saying it's interesting that we're so steadfastly against killing the king when it was a shady person asking for clear reasons, but we are now suddenly very willing when it's a clear person asking for shady reasons.
To which
Or at least hidden reasons.
To which Bryn responded, I think the reason is clear as day.
In which case, Narroth is going to say, we know that this group is concerned with many of the things that we are. However, we do not know that killing the king is the answer to those objections. We do know that this is a society in which people very quickly and very easily like to assume power in this destructive manner. All I'm saying is, don't trust them too quickly because they claim to oppose the same thing you do.
There's no reason we shouldn't hear what they have to say.
Oh, I'm all for hearing more, but so far they do not have me convinced that we need to go with them.
That's what dusk will be for.
Just don't be on their side before the meeting.
That's what dusk is for.
I think we are mainly here just to figure out our role in this. We all have our opinions as to why this is the way it is. And we want to make it better. I think we are all agreed on that.
I personally agree. However, you do remember that this was not our purpose of coming here. We came here in order to find people that can help us fight our own battle, not to fight other people's.
Bryn, when Narl says that, Bryn looks down at the ground. Like she's maintained eye contact until that second.
Let's just make sure that we are achieving our own ends here as well as theirs.
Agreed.
And I think with that, we can see the camera sort of fade to black.
Okay. Thank you for joining us for this episode 4 of Low Rollers Live. If you enjoyed this, we do stream every Monday at 9 p.m. Pacific, so you can join us here on Twitch. We also do upload them afterwards to YouTube, so if you miss a week, you can always come back or go over to YouTube and find the recordings there. We are about to start After the Rolls, our post-session after show, where we talk a little bit about our characters and the situations they're going through and why we make the decisions that we do. So if you want to join us for that, that'd be great. You can put some questions in the chat there. We'd love to take the questions there. I will be restarting the stream, so we have a separate video. So just stay tuned, and we'll be back in just a few minutes for After the Rolls.